Hi, my name is Jerry Wise. I'm a therapist at Family Tree Counseling Associates in Carmel, Indiana, just north of Indianapolis. And this video is entitled, Jealousy is Blind, Not Love. The author Lawrence Durrell wrote, "It's not love that is blind, but jealousy." And this video today is about jealousy and the problems, the difficulties, and maybe I can share some ways out of jealousy. Jealousy is a very big problem. Its sister problem or core problem has to do with low self-esteem or a bad self-image. And those problems create lots of difficulties emotionally and relationally for couples and for individuals. Let me share with you some things that I hear quite regularly. I just don't think I can trust her. When I don't know where he's at or know what he's doing, I just feel sick in the pit of my stomach. You sure are nice to your ex when she calls. Why do you have all these texts to your coworkers? You spend every weekend with your parents and are probably putting me down the whole time when you're with them. If I tell her how I really feel, she will just go out and find some other guy. And why do you always have such a fun time with the neighbors? So let me start out by describing or defining what I mean by jealousy. And I think Wikipedia is as good a place as any to find this kind of definition. Jealousy is negative thoughts and feelings of insecurity, fear, and anxiety over an anticipated loss. An anticipated loss of something of personal value or human connection. And I think we all kind of know what jealousy feels like. Many of us have experienced it. And many of us still do experience it. And again, for many couples and for many marriages, it creates a significant amount of difficulty and conflict, often causing lots of arguments and a lot of wasted time that could be put into intimacy building versus arguing over jealousy. Let me share with you some quotes that I enjoyed around jealousy. William Penn, one of the early founders of our colonies, he wrote, "The jealous are troublesome to others, but a torment to themselves." St. Augustine wrote, "He that is jealous is not in love." And lastly, I think a humorous one from Roger Dangerfield, those of you who remember him as a comedian many years ago, which probably dates me. But he says, "My wife's jealousy is getting ridiculous. The other day she looked at my calendar and wanted to know who May was." That's rather silly and rather ridiculous. However, I have talked with couples that have gotten to a jealousy streak in which that was very possible. Because once we are in a jealousy cycle, we begin to see difficulties, fears, losses around every corner and behind every bush. Well, what would a family systems, of which I'm very interested, a family systems definition of jealousy, what would that be? Jealousy is experienced when childhood abandonment and low self-worth and enmeshment with our family of origin's emotional field pushes its way into our adult relationships. Now again, a lot of people believe that, well, my jealousy is warranted. My husband's had an affair. My wife's had an affair. Certainly I can understand the feelings of betrayal, hurt, sadness, anger. The problem is with jealousy. Jealousy is one of those, the old term is neurotic feelings that we have that really doesn't add anything positive to the relationship and actually is a hindrance and is negative to the relationship, and it comes out of our own insecurities. Because we tend to believe that the more jealous we are, if we're just more jealous, then that will keep our spouse from wanting someone else or wanting or having them leave. And of course, jealousy does neither. In fact, it probably does the opposite. Jealousy is often not very attractive. So how do we recover from jealousy? Jealousy is about you, not the circumstances, and not your spouse. Now, I want to make a disclaimer that I think it's very important that I say. I'm not justifying affairs. I'm not justifying someone not being committed in a relationship that's a monogamous, in love, committed marriage or relationship. And that any bad behavior by a spouse is still bad behavior. And that those behaviors and those actions are not excusable. The problem is jealousy is only a dysfunctional response to it. That's my concern. And so by stating how unhealthy jealousy is, I don't wish to make the claim that affairs and going outside of marriage is somehow a healthy thing. No, both are dysfunctional responses to the intimacy problem that we have. And oftentimes couples who are very low on a self-differentiation scale and are enmeshed or have problems that arise from their family of origin find themselves getting into affairs and also responding by jealousy, or maybe there's been lots of jealousy before affairs occurred. Both are dysfunctional responses. So, when I begin to help people with jealousy, I need to help them understand to get the focus off the spouse, get the focus off the other, and refocus on you and your own self-care. Because that focus on the other is just a continuation of that enmeshment, which only enhances the jealousy and causes a lot more problems. Remember, it's not the circumstances causing the jealousy. It's my insecurity. Bad behavior is bad behavior. Remember, jealousy does not fix an affair. It isn't a protection or an antidote to affairs. And it will not protect you from unfaithful partners. Nor will it help you get the love that you deserve and that you want. But that's kind of what we believe when we feel jealous. And that's those kind of irrational thoughts that we have about jealousy, that it would actually work in that way. That if they know I'm jealous, then they know I love them. And when someone is jealous, it tells me they don't know what love is. And that they maybe are not as healthy as they need to be. Secondly, we need to deconstruct the feelings of jealousy. Ask, what am I jealous about? What do I fear? What part of my self-esteem or self-image do my jealousy feelings connect with? Is it my low self-esteem, my poor self-image, my unlovability, my unworthiness? What are those things about me that I fear someone would not like or would reject me for, or would like someone else for, or better than I? And it's important to deconstruct those feelings so that we can begin to address those problems rather than fixing the spouse so you have nothing to be jealous about, so to speak. And I get quotes and nothing to be jealous about. Where did you learn your self-esteem? When did you learn this poor self-image? When did these feelings begin in your life? Because they've probably continued on into adulthood and on into your marriage. Thirdly, attack your negative or false beliefs. There are a couple books I like. Love is Never Enough by Aaron Beck, and Feeling Good, The New Mood Therapy is by David Burns. I think both are very good resources. For example, instead of following your husband everywhere or reading his every text, you probably want to work on your own sense of self-worth and doing a genogram or genealogy of those feelings so that you can begin to root out the causes of those and begin to heal those for yourself. We must challenge our distorted and negative thoughts and beliefs we learned about ourselves growing up. If my husband is having an affair, it's proof that I'm unlovable. That's kind of what we tell ourselves. Or if my husband is looking at another woman, it's proof that I'm not a good enough spouse for him. Fourthly, do your family of origin work. Do it regarding your fears of abandonment, your rejection, low self-esteem, and shame. Remember, our family of origin lives inside of us, and we're connected to them all throughout our lives. That's a family systems approach. The goal is to get our family of origin out of us, not to get us out of our family of origin. This work reduces the feelings of jealousy and clarifies our feelings about what is really going on in our relationship. Jealousy clouds our thinking, clouds our feelings and interactions, and it increases reactivity. Fifthly, we need to reduce enmeshment and emotional fusion in our relationship. Oftentimes, affairs, insecurities, bad behavior comes out of low self-differentiation, too much fusion, and by the way, too much enmeshment can be expressed through the mode of cut-offness or too much separateness. Jealousy increases enmeshment, it doesn't reduce it, and enmeshment increases jealousy. And oftentimes when there's been an affair, couples will flip back to the fusion side of the coin rather than the cut-off side of the coin. But both are dysfunctional. We need to find the middle ground, the middle healthy ground. We must work on a better balance between we-ness and I-ness in the relationship. Reduced enmeshment through self-worth, self-work, self-care, and not fixing and focusing on the other is the way to reduce that fusion and bring a healthier relationship to a couple and allow for more healthy relationships. Sixthly, we need to give up our illusion of our ability to control others or control our spouse. Jealousy is about that belief that we can actually control others by our worry and by our jealousy. Worry and jealousy are states that we do that keep the enmeshment going. We often think if I worry enough, if I stay jealous, work harder to increase we-ness or enmeshment, if I act on my jealous feelings, if I share my jealous reactivity, it will keep him or her from leaving me, from having an affair, or being interested in someone else. And those are the beliefs that we actually believe. And we need to work on those distorted beliefs and work on that illusion. Seventh, stop your self-abandonment. Self-abandonment is the ground where the roots of jealousy grow. I believe we first experience rejection or abandonment, and then we internalize this and continue that self-abandonment throughout our lives. Maybe our abandonment occurred when we were very young. For example, our first reaction when we suspect or fear betrayal or an other interest by our spouse or feel less important to significant others, we focus on them versus us, resulting in self-abandonment. In other words, once we feel that panic, then we focus on the other and leave us standing there all alone without anyone to comfort us, because now we're trying to fix the other person. These are some thoughts and notions about jealousy that I wanted to share with you today. There's much more that could be shared or talked about. I hope you'll give me a call. I provide Skype therapy for those who don't live around the Indianapolis area, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, in the South, in the North. You can contact me. My phone number and email address is on the screen for you. I hope you'll join Family Tree Counseling channel. Watch the other 50 or more videos that I have. They're free and they can be helpful, maybe a learning experience, maybe get you through a tough time. I want to say I thank you very much for watching the video and hope you have a great day.